my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading Blood Scion. Okay, so Blood Scion is the first book in a new fantasy series which is also called Blood Scion, and this is also one of my anticipated releases for this year. And since this book came out when I'm filming this 2 weeks ago, I will be doing a spoiler-free vlog, and I was planning on filming this intro before I read the book, but I procrastinated, and then I procrastinated some more, and I have actually finished the book by now. But anyway, I don't think I did give any spoilers. I tried to be vague about what I was talking about, but if I do get into some spoilers, like if I notice that while I'm editing, I will be putting a spoiler warning on the screen. And since this is a spoiler-free review, I just talked about like my overall feelings and thoughts about the book at like my last update when I finished reading part 3. So there won't be like a final thoughts section like I usually do for my vlogs when I like give spoilers about the books. So yes, having said all of that, let's just get into it.
Harbor Team and Harbor Audio presents Blood Scion by Deborah Khalidi, performed by Liz Penny. To Matthew, who planted the seed long before I knew it would bloom, thank you for walking this path with me. This book is inspired by the real-life horrors endured by child soldiers and the war children in particular, and therefore tackles themes of war, violence, and sexual assault. Please read with care. Part 1. The Draft. Omoino man wasino. It is a child of fire, one sends on an errand to fire. Proverb from the ancient kingdom of Oyo.
Okay, so I have read 29% of the book, which means I have read part 1. And before we get into anything, I just want to say that this cover is so beautiful. Every time I look at like my audiobook thing, I'm just like mesmerized because it's so gorgeous. Anyway, I am gonna like give some context, but I'm not gonna spoil anything because what I'm gonna say is pretty much what the synopsis says. So in this book, we follow the main character who's called Sloane, and she is 15 years old. And the book literally starts with her being attacked. And like the audiobook said in the beginning, this book follows children who are forced to be soldiers, and there are trigger warnings for themes of war, just violence in general, and sexual assault. And we learn right away that Sloane is a Scion, which means that she is a descendant of one of the Orisha gods. And they explain a bit about the gods and their mythology. And we also learn that under the Lucy's rules, Scions are supposed to be executed. Even though that country, that whole land, used to belong to the Scions, because the Lucys are basically the colonizers. And they keep saying that they're doing that because the Scions are dangerous with their magic. But the truth is, the Lucys are the ones who have the guns and armies and are attacking the Scions. And so after Sloane's 15th birthday, she is recruited for the Lucy's army, and no one knows that she is a Scion except for her grandfather and a friend. Basically, she's going to have to fight against her own people, other Scions, and she has to do some horrible things to survive, and some horrible things are done to her. And one of the things that she had to do that was really horrible to read, or in this case, or in my case, to listen to. I was pretty sure it was gonna happen, and it did happen. And there is someone at like the new place she's in that knows her secrets. So that is definitely also dangerous. And so basically, Sloane has her own plan because she obviously doesn't want to be in the army, but also if she deserted, like if anyone deserts, they are killed on sight. And so obviously she can't really escape, but she also, in a way, doesn't want to escape because she has a plan. She has her own agenda to basically find out what happened to her mother and avenge her, and at the same time destroy the Lucys from the inside. This was less than a third of the book, and so far it's already brutal, but the plot seems very interesting, and Sloane seems so far as well to be a really cool character to follow. She is very strong and determined and just a badass so far. Like, she obviously had to do some really bad things, but it's not like she had a choice, and I am definitely liking her. I can say that I'm like enjoying the book because it is sad and violent, but I think the plot is very interesting, and the magic, like what we know so far, is also very interesting. And I am already anticipating this book to destroy me. So yes, I will update once I read part 2.
Part 2. The Phases. O Konkinfa Kokwemo. A mind once broken is no longer whole. Proverb from the ancient kingdom of Ileife. 14. Recruit Shade. The schedule below has been reviewed and approved by High Commander Fast Barker. 0530 hours.
Okay, so I have read part 2, which got me to 87% of the book, which means that this was almost 60% of the book, this part alone, and a lot happened. So we begin this part basically following Sloane's training, and we meet a bunch of other kids who are there, and this is all very heartbreaking because they are literally children who are forced to be soldiers and assassins. And it's even worse because we know that this happens in the real world. So it's not just a book, it's not just fantasy or fiction, it's real. And it is heartbreaking because this book, like, it shows the violence. It definitely shows some horrible things that they have to do and that are done to them. But we also get to learn more about the magic, Sloane's magic, but also the magic of the Scions in general. And we see a ritual being performed, which was interesting, but again, very painful. And we also learn about their ancestors, like the gods, and the Scions and their sort of relationship. And then we hear a prophecy, and I was very confused but also scared about that prophecy, and so was Sloane. And like that on top of everything that she is already going through, because like I said, she keeps having to do horrible things, and she has horrible things done to her. And she feels like a traitor to her people, the Scions, because she is literally in an army to fight her people. And like I said, she feels like a traitor, but again, it's not like she has a choice. This wasn't something that she wanted to do. It was forced on her. It was literally this or death. She literally said to someone, how do we defend ourselves against your fear? How do we fight against your ignorance? And again, that's something that would definitely fit in the real world, and it makes this heartbreaking book even more heartbreaking because, like I said, it's not just fiction. And in terms of Sloane interacting with other people, I was actually, for the first time in forever, feeling like a relationship happening, and I was shipping it. But I knew that I was feeling the wrong ship, because I could tell that I was wrong, and I was, and I do not feel ship, whatever, the actual ship that is supposed to be happening, not at all. And also, what happened at the end of this part was so heartbreaking, and I was not ready for that. Like, it definitely caught me completely off guard. I was not expecting that, and I hated every second of it. Also, we find some new shocking information about Sloane's mother, and I guess that changes her plan, kind of, in a way, and she now has a new plan, which makes me nervous, because she also has some allies that I don't think are very trustworthy, and she's already in enough danger as it is, and I am scared for her. And like I said, the end of this part was just horrible, and I am very scared for the last part of the book, which is going to be very, very short. But that doesn't mean that horrible things can't happen. Even though, like, I can't imagine anything worse happening than what happened at the end of part 2. Except for, like, Sloane dying, but she's not gonna die because she's main character, and this is in a first-person POV, so I think that if she died, the story would end, and this is the first book in a series, so the story is not gonna end. So, I don't think anything worse than that is gonna happen, but I might be wrong. I've definitely been wrong before. So, yeah, I am scared, but I am excited. And I will be back here once I finish the book.
Part 3. The Treason. Iberogunamo, Kusenitio Moe Barriere. We only know the beginning of war. No one knows how it ends. Proverb from the ancient kingdom of Kaba. 38.
Okay, so I have finished part 3 and I have finished the book. And this was a very short last part. It was less than 2 hours of the audiobook, but there was definitely still time for things to happen. And there was it was sort of a betrayal, but at the same time, it wasn't a betrayal because I never trusted that character, so, you know, I expected that to happen, but I guess it was a betrayal for other characters. And there was a revelation that I did not see coming. I am very shocked and wow. And I am gonna just talk about the book like a final review. And in terms of the characters, like I have said before, this was in a first person POV, so we mainly got to know Sloane, and I loved her. She was a badass and strong and incredible, and I kept forgetting that she was only 15, but I did really love her, and I loved like seeing the world through her and just following her journey. And I would like to have seen more of some of the other characters, but being in a first-person POV, that is obviously not gonna happen. And it's always sort of a compromise because it's always interesting to see the world through just one character, but at the same time, you don't get to know the other characters as well. So yes, but in terms of Sloane herself, I loved her. And the pacing of the book was mostly really to my liking, like great. And there were some really cool action scenes as well. And when I say cool, I mean like brutal and horrible. But as a fan of action, they were really well done, and there were definitely a lot of them. So I also appreciated that. And I also loved getting to know the world and the mythology and the magic system and how it works. But I am sure that there is still so much to learn because this was only the first book in the series. And it seems very interesting, and I am really excited to get to know more whenever the next book comes out. But what we did get to know of the world building, I really enjoyed as well. And what I did not enjoy was the romance, because like I said, I was feeling like romance with another character, but I knew that it was not gonna happen, and what sort of did happen, I didn't like. So there is that, but I haven't really been liking any romance in anything. So is it the book? Is it me? Who knows? And I have said this before and I will say it again. This is definitely not an easy, like comfortable read, because it is violent and it is brutal, and like it shows the violence happening several times. There are several physical attacks and also mental, and like I said, definitely not an enjoyable read in that sense. But in terms of the story, I did really enjoy like the plot and the world and the main character. And like I said, there was a huge revelation in the last part of the book, and it definitely left me wanting more, and I am really, really excited to continue the series because I think this was a very promising start, and I gave this book 4 stars. I think this is my first time ever finishing a video sitting on the floor, so this is new, but I think this is everything for this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!